They keep on talking, drawing conclusions. They call me a problem, I call it a solution. Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of the Willy's World podcast. This is the little song that, not that I wrote, it's by a band called Midlands. It's my favourite song at the moment, otherwise ATM. How you going? What's going on? Wearing sunnies now, just as a really wacky sort of prop for the podcast, which I'm realizing now in no way translates in any effect through an audio medium. So I'm taking them off. Now I can see all of my written material better, and we're all good. So how are you? Have you had a good week? Hope you had a good week, and hope you have a great week. But I'll wish you a proper week upcoming at the end of the podcast. Anyway, we got our opening bit, as usual. And look, here's how it goes. So there's a doctor. Love bits about doctors, but there's this doctor, and a guy walks into his office. He's not more of a doctor. He's more of a plastic surgeon type dude. Guy walks into his office, and he says, "Doc, I got a big problem." And the doc says, "What's the problem? What can I help you with?" The guy's like, "It's my penis. It's very, very small." The doc says, "Okay, what seems to be the real issue?" And the guy's like, "Well, the problem with my small penis is that my wife hates it. I can't pleasure her, and it's starting to really affect our marriage on every level. I can't satisfy her. I can't please her. It's making me feel like less of a man, and I can see the love starting to fade from her eyes. Disappointment, bitterness, resentment, these kind of traits are sinking in. They're starting to bleed into our marriage. They're starting to infect us like a poison. It's like an ivy, a dark, sexually unsatisfying ivy that's growing around the old English terrace house of our relationship. Doc, it's just, that's the situation." Doc says, I hear your pain. I can hear it resonating through your elaborate metaphors in description of your relationship. I guess in what we can do is we can pencil you in for a penis enlargement surgery and get your relationship back on track. The dude says, "Oh, no. That's not the case at all." And the doc says, "What do you mean?" The guy's like, "I want to make it smaller. This is great. Fucking I hate my wife." Anyway, welcome to the podcast. Just a little bit of silliness here. We got a good little lineup today. Actually, we have a segment to sort of kick things off. That's a bit of a throwback to a previous segment we did. It is the what's it officially called? How I Would Have Ended That Famous Book or Movie. I think for the last time we did this segment, it was Moby Dick, and I think the traditional way it ends is that the guy, Captain Ahab, he's trying to kill the whale, and the whale's thrashing around in the water, and I think he ends up just like dying on the whale. Spoiler, should have probably done a spoiler alert before I revealed the ending, but it's Moby Dick. Who gives a fuck? It's got dick in it. You know, what else you need to know? Well, I mean, you probably want to know the story, but let's move on, shall we? So this is how I would have ended Goodfellas. You know the movie Goodfellas with like Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro and Ray Liotta? If you haven't seen it, you should see it, okay? So this isn't going to spoil the actual ending. You should go out and see it. But this is how I would have ended it. Okay, this does actually give away the ending. But whatever, I don't give a shit. This is my podcast. If you want to hear about movies where the spoilers of the ending aren't given away, go listen to that podcast. No, don't. Stay listening to mine. But anyway, Goodfellas, how I would have ended it. Okay, so at the end, Ray Liotta, I can't remember what he's, I think Henry's name of his character, he's in witness protection. So he's in witness protection, okay? And it sort of ends there. But here's how I would have ended. I would have kept it going for at least another 5 minutes. And here's what I would have packed into that 5 minutes. So here's what happens. He leaves his house in witness protection, where he's living in this small town, you know, and like, you know, in the real America, some sort of Midwestern town, and he goes to his local diner. And the guy who runs the diner is this sort of really confused, sort of cranky short dude who gets very muddled, and he's played by Danny DeVito. And every day, Ray Liotta walks into this diner, and he sits up at the counter, and he asks for a cappuccino. He says, "Yo, man, can I get a cappuccino?" And every time he orders it, Danny DeVito says, What the hell is a cappuccino? You mean a coffee? You mean coffee, right? And Ray Liotta goes, yeah, coffee, cappuccino coffee. And then Danny Vito goes, why do you always break my balls? Why are you always breaking my bloody balls? If you want a coffee, just say you want a coffee. Jesus, why are you always breaking my balls? So that's how I would have ended the famous movie Goodfellas. I think it's an improvement. I don't think, I actually know. I've done a test group moving into production very, very soon. Right, so that's that segment out of the way. This podcast is really just getting things I want to think about and then put out there. I just want to get them out of the way so I can move on. Speaking of that, let's move on to the next segment. What have we got? This is a okay. So you may have missed it because I didn't post it and I didn't tell anyone about it. But in the fantasy world of this podcast, I sent out applications for an assistant, for like a co-host on my podcast, because I'm sick of doing it alone. It's always better to do it with someone else. Do you know what I mean? Doing it alone. I mean, it's fun, but you know what I mean? It's like that Jim's dad in American Pie. He's like, you want someone to hit the ball back sometimes. You know what I mean? Didn't think I'd be making that reference in the podcast, but whatever, fucking whatever. I'm not keeping the brow, just medium. The brow's not low. The brow is not high either. It's medium brow. And so anyway, my assistant Jenny, who you may hear me cussing at during the podcast, because her organizational skills for an assistant behind the scenes, look, they're lacking. They're not up to scratch, and she's got a performance review coming up. And let me say this, there's going to be possibly some tears on the Jenny side of the table. Just going to put it out there. But look, she's a sweet, lovely lady. She does a great job. And, she might get a bonus this year. It might be paid in Oreos, but that's fine. Whatever. Let's just get on with things, shall we? God damn it. No one wants to hear about my HR problems on the podcast. Fucking wasted a minute on HR. What is this coming to? What a time to be alive. Anyway, Jenny's assorted. Jenny's assorted the best candidates for me. And what I did was I said, put a thing out, and it's like, you have to just let me know in 100 words or less who you are and why you would be a great sort of assistant or co-host for my podcast. Anyway, Jenny's got them down to the top 3 candidates, and I'm going to read for you now their sort of submission forms, their applications. Here we go. Candidate 1. Hello, my name is Rancor. I'm an alien life form from the planet Mars. Okay. Sounds like a juicy candidate. My hobbies include teleporting between dimensions, bringing back variations of dark matter from other galaxies to aid in the construction of our planet's new super weapon. Interesting. Sounds like he's got a bit of organizational experience. He likes to get out in the field. Sounds good. And he goes on and says, I think I would make a great sidekick because research on your species has shown that you have an unparalleled interest in foreign life forms like myself. And this could help immeasurably with what you humans call ratings, which your particular broadcast seems to be struggling with right now. Right, well, cheers, Rancor. Sweet as. No, I just have to read that out now. Thanks, Jenny. Fuck. Anyway, sounds like a character, but I think it's definitely going to be a no just because you insulted my podcast and I was just read that out on air. So that's a no. But I mean, you're criticizing our ratings. Look, we're a niche show. We're not we don't have mainstream appeal. We're niche. We're cool. You know what I mean? We're cool. We have a cult following. Very cult. And secondly, I'm not sure how the whole visa situation would work with an alien. Might have to probe into that further. No pun intended. All right, moving on. We got candidate 2 here. It's what do we got? Hello, my name is Campbell. G'day, Campbell. I'm a 40. What do you can of soup? I'm a 42-year-old sissy and submissive from southwest Queensland. Sissy and submissive. Right. I love your podcast. In fact, I worship it. In fact, I don't deserve to listen to it because I'm a little bitch. Right, okay. I'd be a great podcast sidekick because I will accept your every order and your every desire, and I'll let you shame me. I have no idea what that means. Does that mean I get to pee on you? I'm here by the phone. I'm here by the phone in my leather gimp suit, eagerly awaiting your first commandment. Yours, submissive Campbell. I don't even know what to say. He just called him. He signed off as submissive Campbell. Is that what it says on his driver's license? Submissive. Jesus. What kind of Jenny? God damn it, Jenny. Look, it's making good content. Anyway, candidate 3, fucking pray to God we got someone good here who's going to deliver and can help me on this podcast fill the dead air. Not that there is any, but if there was, they would fill it. All right, here we go. It's a short one, actually. This is good. Okay. Hi, I'm Elsa. G'day, Elsa. I'm 26, blonde. I have large breasts and a great ass. I'm here in Australia on a working holiday from Sweden, and I want to work on your shit little podcast so that I can renew my visa. Hire me before someone else does. You fucking shit, Elsa. Sounds good. That's actually a good application. It's probably one of the best applications I've ever read. Wow, Elsa. Don't know what it was about that application, but it just sort of seemed to hit me in all the right places. 26, blonde, breasts, butt, working visa. I think we can help you out. I think we can work something out there. Jenny, get Elsa on the phone straight away. Sounds like a keeper. All right, there you go. That was the pretty successful segment, I reckon. I did some work and created some podcast content. Look, that was a double whammy. Pause for a sip of water? No, the water can wait till the end of the podcast. Okay, what have we got now? We got Ask Willy. Every week you send me your questions. I filter out the weird ones and leave the good ones and read them out on air, which is weird because most of the ones I read are still weird, but you should see what I get emailed from fucking people like Sissy Campbell. Sissy Campbell. Related to Sissy Jupp from Hard Times. Literary reference. Read the book, okay? I'm not going to reveal the spoiler for that because that's a plot you're going to want to experience firsthand. Okay, what do we got? Ask Willy. Only 2 questions this week. This one comes from Mr. Roboto at hotmail.com. G'day, robots. Hey, Willy, I got this guy at the gym and he keeps sweating like disgustingly on all the equipment at the gym, like the bench press and stuff, and he never cleans up after himself when he sweats on it. What should I do? Mate, I got the perfect thing for you, robots. Here's what you got to do. Sort of leer very closely to him while he's doing his set, and then, watch him fucking work up a good sweat on it. And when he's done and he gets up, just stand right next to him and say, "Hey man, are you gonna use that sweat? Are you gonna use it?" And he'll say, "Oh, you mean you want to use the pen?" Like, no, you're gonna use the sweat. Can I use the sweat? He'll look at you weird, and you go, "Oh, sweet, thanks, man." And then you bring a little bottle with you, like a little vial or like a mason jar, and just start feeding the sweat into the jar. Smell the jar, put the lid back on. Say, "Thanks, man. Cool. I was running low on this." He will fucking never come to that gym ever again. Ever. This would be the best thing you ever did. Maybe wear a mask or something so they don't throw you out of the gym. I don't know. That would be even better. You're wearing like some sort of like a cricket hat or something. You know, the cricket. I don't know what they call them. It's not a cricket mask. Helmet. Cricket helmet. Look, figure it out. I gave you the best part of the story. You can figure out the logistics. What do we got? Next question. Ask Willy. We've got goulash guzzler at gmail.com. Is guzzling the goulash. Respect that. Goulash is a good meal, depending on who's serving it. Willy, what does it take to make it in showbiz? What kind of traits do I need to master in order to be successful? That's a great question. Coming from personal experience, climbing the ranks on the podcast rating schedule thing, the list. Here's my thoughts on it. Showbiz can be a cruel mistress, but it's worth the journey, essentially. The climb to the top is very satisfying, very meaningful. But I'd say if you can learn to cope with daily rejection, anxiety, and overall sense of disappointment, then you'll go very far indeed. It's more about resisting pain than any being productive. Anyway, whatever. Fuck. Have a great week. That's the end of the podcast. And catch you next week. Feel free to leave some comments on my Facebook post, questions, whatever. And I'll get back to you and feature on the next week. Possibly in an Ask Willy. You can make it on live. How about that? You'll be famous. I'll mention your email address. Everyone will fucking hit you back. You'll become the next Willy. Or not. Don't. I'm not going to read it now. All right. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye. God, I need to work on this fucking outro. Every week I'd stumble. Anyway, see ya. Bye.